Welcome to today's class on 10.1. As we know and have learned, our cells are provided with nutrients and oxygen by the activities of the digestive and respiratory systems. The circulatory system ensures that each of the trillions of cells in the body receives the substances it needs for metabolic activities. All of these processes result in some sort of waste. For example, when you eat a banana, you have the peel as the waste, and you have the inside of the banana as something that your body needs, but the peel is something that your body does not need. Excretion is a process of separating wastes from bodily fluids, then eliminating the wastes from the body. Excretion happens in several different systems in the body, such as the respiratory system, excreting oxygen, and skin excreting water and salts. Most metabolic wastes are dissolved or suspended in solution that are excreted by the excretory system, also known as the urinary system. This system produces something called urine, which is a waste product that is led outside of the body. Our kidneys produce urine. They also carry out 4 other important functions that contribute towards maintaining homeostasis. 1. The excretion of metabolic wastes, also known as nitrogenous wastes, which means they have nitrogen in them, including ammonia, urea, and uric acid. Ammonia is highly toxic but is converted in the liver to the less toxic compound urea, which makes up most nitrogenous wastes in the body. 2. Maintaining a water-salt balance, which is simply maintaining an appropriate balance of water and salt in the blood. Since the kidneys keep this balance in the blood, they can also help regulating blood pressure, which in turn helps maintaining appropriate levels of potassium, bicarbonate, and calcium in the blood. 3. Maintaining of an acid-base balance of a pH around 7.4 by excreting hydrogen ions and reabsorbing the bicarbonate ions. Urine is usually more acidic because of the food we eat, and that is acidic, such as most fruits, standing at a pH of around 6. Finally, the kidneys assist the endocrine system in the secretion of hormones, and that's number 4. Calcitriol promotes calcium absorption from the digestive tract, erythropoietin stimulates the production of red blood cells, and renin promotes the secretion of the hormone aldosterone from the adrenal cortex, which is on top of the kidney. The reason why the kidney on the right sits a little bit lower than the kidney on the left is because we have the large liver on the right hand side that pushes the kidney down. There. The fat you have around the kidneys is called structural fat. Structural fat we often use for protection and anchorage. It protects the kidneys because the ribs don't do a very good job of that. Therefore, they are open to being hit. As well, it keeps the kidneys where they are so that they don't float around. Urine is sent from the kidneys to the bladder through 2 muscular ureters. There and there. The ureters use the same wave-like process as in the esophagus called peristalsis. The urine is then temporarily stored in the urinary bladder until it can be released through 2 muscular rings called sphincters and then through the urethra. For males, the urethra is the same passage as that for the reproductive process, while in females, they have separate openings. In recap, the waste urea is collected from the blood into the kidneys, which is then sent through the ureters, stored in the urinary bladder, and then released through 2 sphincters, and then excreted from the urethra. Part 2. As we know, kidney beans get their name from their similar shape to our own kidneys, and they're almost the size of a mango. The concave part of the kidney, which is over here and here, are where the renal veins and arteries bring blood to and from the kidneys. As most parts of our bodies, the kidney has several different layers. It has 3 regions or layers. The outer section is the renal cortex, the middle inner section is called the renal medulla, and the inner cavity is called the renal pelvis. Now within the renal cortex and the renal medulla, there are more than 1 million microscopic structures called nephrons, and they are closely associated with the network of blood vessels. The nephrons are responsible for filtering various substances from the blood, transforming it into urine. This is similar to the diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood in the alveoli inside our lungs. To break it down even more, these nephrons have three main functional regions: a filter, the tubules, and the collecting duct. The filter starts off with the Bowman capsule. It is a cup-like sac at the beginning of the tubular component of a nephron in the kidney. It performs the first step in the filtration from blood to urine. Inside the capsule, the renal artery and then the interlobular artery split into a network of capillaries known as the glomerulus. The walls of the glomerulus will only allow water, small molecules, ions, and urea, which is the waste material, to pass through it. This leftover fluid is called the filtrate, and it is passed on to the next section. The tubule is a long, narrow tube that is twisted back on itself to form a loop. The tubule has three sections: the proximal tubule, the loop of Henle, and the distal tubule. Similar to the small intestine, this loop is meant to reabsorb any final substances that may be useful to the body. Finally, the larger pipe-like channel, called the collecting duct, functions as a water collecting or conservation device, getting as much water out of the filtrate so that the body doesn't lose too much water. The filtrate that remains in the collecting duct is a suspension of water and various solutes and particles. It is now called urine. Everything reclaimed during this process is returned to the body through the interlobular vein and then the renal vein. In recap, the main function of the kidneys happens within the nephrons. Waste product is collected by the tubules through filtration from the blood, producing urine. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. The tubule wastes are dissolved or suspended in solution. Is this even recording? Okay. That would have been bad. Okay. Oh, that's definitely going in bloopers. Sac. At the beginning of the tubular component. Oh, come on, man. Which functions as water collecting or conservation device. This is gonna be hell editing this.